Hello and welcome to the DPod from the DPad, episode 45. My name is Nick. I am your host once again after being gone last week. You know.
We missed you.
No, you didn't. Don't lie.
Did. Totally.
Hi, Sharon.
How are you?
How did you enjoy being the host while I was away?
Not too shabby. I think I could get used to it.
Get used to it? What are you trying to say? Oh, my. Other Nick, how are you doing over there? So you picked up the Videocast part while I was away? There is a lot to pay attention to. I've meticulously planned out absolutely everything. So
you have cheat sheets and everything.
Oh yeah. I have a notebook with like everything that I need in order to make sure that I switch things. It's not easy to run all this crap at the same time. So
well, kudos to you.
I hope you guys appreciate me a little bit more.
Aww.
So while you guys were off podcasting, I was off in Texas. Doing Texas things like shooting guns and there you go. And yeah, other Texas things. I don't know what Texas eating steaks
and barbecuing.
Steaks,
right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. While I was down there, I married a steak.
What? Can
My wife is now a steak. She was delicious.
Oh.
So now I'm divorced. And next time I go down to Texas, I'll marry another steak. It'll be great.
Huh.
So that's where I was last week. Unfortunately, Jeremy not with us again this week. He has other duties. He has a life. That's too bad.
Yeah.
And of course, if you are a frequent watcher of this fine video content, you probably noticed that we're a day late.
Oh, yeah.
You can blame Sharon for that.
Totally my fault. I'm not even pretending it's not. It really is all of my fault.
How dare you? That's okay. I prefer doing it on Sundays, but we have previously discussed that Sundays are usually a problem, but in the summer, not so much. So
here we are.
Here we are, podcast number 45. We have
45.
45.
What's going to happen when we get to 52?
Cake?
That'd be
we'll
fun.
just get some cake. So let's. Yes, we're officially entering old age.
It's not 87.
We'll have to get a new card for the Videocast that says "Get off my lawn," and it's just like a picture of
a guy shaking a rake.
Yes, there you go. Get off my lawn. It's my podcast. So, guys.
Yes, sir.
I was gone last week. Didn't really get to play a whole lot, but I played some video games this week. So let's talk about what we've been playing.
Well, what did you play this week?
What I get to go first?
Yeah.
I get to go first.
Do it. What have you been playing this week?
Okay, so
a lot of.
I actually feel kind of bad about this because I know you guys talked to death about Rogue Legacy last week. I'm going to talk about more Rogue Legacy because freaking Rogue Legacy, man, took over my life this week. As some of you might be able to attest to, we did a live stream of this game last night, and we had a lot of people watching while I was playing this game. I got really good at this game. Like, I guess that's the only way I can really say it. I won't go too into depth on this because I know you guys talked about it a lot last week, but I got really good at Rogue Legacy. Platformers are sort of a thing for me. I've been playing platformers, probably one of my favorite genres for the past 30 years. So without a doubt. So I really kind of got really deep down the rabbit hole. I ended up finishing the game. And then after that, I realized there's New Game Plus, which of course means you can keep playing. And every time you play the game over, all of the enemies get a little harder. So after I beat the New Game Plus, it goes to New Game Plus. And then I beat that. So I said, all right, well, now I'll play New Game Plus. And I beat that. So then at this point, I'm like earning 150,000 gold per run, and I'm in like new game plus 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 plus, and things have just started getting ridiculously hard. But I decided to keep playing, and despite the fact that I was dying more and just kind of running straight to bosses and killing just bosses, was just tearing this game apart. I really didn't know what else to do. So I beat it again last night while I was on stream. So then I started a new game plus 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 plus. That's 5 pluses, right?
Plus.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus.
Yes.
Plus.
Plus. And eventually it got so hard that I was unable to progress anymore, and I finally stopped last night. I maxed out absolutely every stat you can max out. So I got to the level 500. I believe 507 is the max level. That's when you have upgraded all 507. I bought every single rune for every single piece of equipment. I found every piece of equipment. The only thing that I was unable to do as far as the achievements in this game were concerned was the clown. Nick, have you ever beaten the clown? Like, have you ever done that? I've not even gotten close. So, for the clown, there are 2 different clown games. There's one where it's target practice, and you have a dagger, and you need to hit a target from fairly far away, and it's not easy. You have to lead the target and just be really precise. And I've never even come close. I think one time I made it to like the next to last target. The other one is the axes, where you have this axe, and I believe there's like 50 targets on the screen, and you have 5 axes, and you have to get rid of at least 40 of the 50 targets. And the best I've ever done was, I think I left 15 targets once. So I consider in both the situations I've not even gotten close to finishing those clown challenges. Oh, that's really
close.
Good. You've
so
done
close.
Yeah. You've done much better than I have in that, then. That's the only achievement I have left to get on as far as the Steam achievements go. All I can really say is that once you start getting down to like new game plus 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 etc pluses, the game becomes a lot more about never getting hit, because you just take too much damage. And even though a lot of the early parts of this game deal with trying to gain back health by like stealing it from enemies, stuff like that, there's just no way to account for the amount of damage the enemies start doing to you. So instead, you start trying to concentrate on never getting hit and doing absolutely as much damage as possible. So what I ended up doing was upping my critical hit chance to about 80%. So like 4 out of 5 swings of my sword would be a critical hit. And then I got to the point where not only was that happening, but my critical hits were doing 400%. So 4 out of 5 swings, I was doing 400% damage. And that's basically how I was, like, I don't know if anyone happened to see that stream. I was starting to hit for like 817 damage, like ridiculous. It was still taking like 3 or 4 hits to kill most simple enemies. So needless to say, game starts to get impossibly hard as you continue to move forward. But I feel like I got my $15 out of this game. And boss is not that difficult once you know what's going on too. So anyway, I won't ruin that too much. I'm sure there's really not a lot to ruin anyway. But Nick, are you gonna end up finishing this, you think? How's it? Well, that's not. Don't go by me, because I'm not normal. No, that's not what I mean. I don't think it's fair. That's a fair comparison. I would never ask that.
It's Nick was born with a controller in his hand, playing side platform games.
You can blame my ColecoVision for that. Yeah, I think you should probably at least finish it once. In all honesty, the first new game plus you play is not that bad. Like, they definitely up the difficulty in the enemies, but by then you're so familiar with the game that it's actually not that bad. But once you start getting a couple new game pluses in, it just becomes impossibly difficult.
So when you play games like this, do you see it sort of like you're in the Matrix, like it's all just, binary code?
Sort of. It's funny you say that, because I've considered that before. Like, not like the Matrix part of it, but just like, well, like when I'm actually in the middle of this and I'm trying to think of how I want to do it, like how do I visualize what buttons I'm going to press in my mind? And like I can't answer those questions. It's weird. I don't know. You just it becomes second sense. Like you know,
transcend to another plane.
You know what you're going to do before you do it. Like it's like chess, right? How many steps ahead can you be?
I totally don't think that way.
Yeah. So that's, I guess. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, especially just, I mean, a lot of times I would kind of compare like avoiding bullets. Like right now in the Videocast, I'm fighting the second boss, the big skull head. Like avoiding bullets and generally bullet hell games as well, because this is not all that different. Just really comes down to it's similar to billiards in a way. And people are like, well, what does this have anything to do with pool? But when you're playing billiards, it's all angles and like learning how to bank shots off of the walls to get the balls in the pockets. And when you're playing a game where you are avoiding bullets, it's all about angles. For instance, this battle actually not that hard once you realize all the bullets just go straight up or straight to the side. And it's like, all right, well then I just need to stay on diagonals and I'll be fine. And like once you boil it down to like a basic, super basic level like that, it's not that hard. And that's kind of how I think about avoiding bullets. So I realize that's a bit of a tangent, but that's how I think about playing these types of games. So if that offers any insight, then awesome. If not, then okay, that's fine too. Once you start, well, my two favorite classes, especially once you start getting later in the game, like new game pluses, Spell Sword is definitely my go-to because you pretty much have unlimited mana, so you can just having a limitless secondary weapon is invaluable. It gives you more flexibility. The second, oh yeah, he's got the powered up one is amazing. Yeah. So the other tip would be the assassin. As I was saying before, the way I kind of quote unquote broke this game when you start getting to the new game plus stuff. Was just raising your criticals way up, and the assassin gets all of his criticals boosted way up naturally. So that's when I was doing like 80% crit chance with 400% damage. That's usually an assassin. And then the assassin also has like his special move is literally just invincibility, which comes in handy when the screen is just full of bullets, which seems to happen pretty frequently in the later levels. So if you, even in the early levels, if you can get used to using the spell sword, I would recommend it. I think the other thing that I would say in the early game, like in the first run, don't be afraid to stick to the basic classes, like the paladin and the barbarian. A lot of my beginning boss fights were won not by skill, but by like endurance, just having tons and tons of hit points. So that would be my recommendation in the early game. So, yeah. Yeah, just you outlast them basically. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on Rogue Legacy. I loved this game. So Nick, I would like to thank you because you're actually the one who kind of introduced it to us on this podcast many weeks ago, and I am super glad I paid it and I got my $15 worth. So yeah, it is. It's. Yeah, it's showing as selling really well on Steam right now. So I think whoever the guys who made this game are probably rolling in it right now. So, yeah, yes, it's a good game. So, what else have I been playing? So I played a game. I'm actually going to have to go with someone else's footage. I usually like to tape myself playing games, but unfortunately, I didn't start playing this until today, so I was not able to tape anything for the podcast for this. But I started playing tape. Yes.
You're showing your age there.
Should I have said record?
I the thing is that I didn't even bat an eyelash. I'm like, oh yeah, tape.
Yeah. So yeah, I taped this on my VHS. So I started playing Bleed, which is on Steam. It's so this game came out, I believe, this week on Steam. It's only $5, so I decided to get it because it looks like it was a dual analog action game, and it is. I was afraid when I first saw it that it was actually going to be mouse controls, and I think this video we're watching actually has someone possibly using mouse controls, but it has full controller support as well. So the second controller support was an option. I said, okay, let's do it. So as far as I can tell, the plot of this game, Bleed, is you play as this girl named Rin, and the rest of the plot is basically No More Heroes. I don't know if you remember the plot of No More Heroes or not, but you play as in No More Heroes, you play as an assassin who wants to be the best assassin. In this game, you play a hero who wants to be the best hero. So you are literally going to kill the other heroes so you can be the best one, which is kind of weird in a way. I don't think so, but maybe. So the way the controls work is that, at least on a gamepad, is your left analog stick controls your movement, and the right analog stick controls the direction in which you shoot. Then you have your two triggers on top. The right trigger will actually jump, and then you actually have, I guess you could call it quad jump in this game. So you can jump 4 times before you have to land, and the direction that you're pushing in your movement is the direction in which you continue to jump. So you can jump and then double jump and triple jump and then quadruple jump. And then the mechanic that actually makes this game interesting is that it's basically Beautiful Joe. If you've ever played Beautiful Joe for the GameCube or the PS2, in that game, what you can do is you hold down the left trigger to slow down time. You go into bullet time. So a lot of the enemy patterns are designed so that if you try and do it at regular speed, you will just get shot up. For instance, this helicopter is coming at you in super speed, and he's charging you. However, if you slow down time and then quad jump over it in slow-mo, you can actually do it without getting hit. So it becomes a basically pattern recognition again, and knowing when to slow down and where to jump. Pretty cool game, actually. It gave me some trouble, but actually wasn't very long. I think I beat this game in about an hour. Maybe, again, I'm not going to suggest that I am better than anyone else, but I think even a normal person could probably beat this game in like 3 hours tops. But it has a lot of skill-based challenges and 4 difficulty levels and tons of achievements. So there's a lot of replay value. Kind of looking forward to going back and playing this a little bit more. But the boss battles are pretty much all of this game. There's some level stuff going on as well, but most of it's pretty basic. I guess my big thing so far with Bleed here, first of all, I think it was made by one dude. Like, one guy made the whole thing. Beyond that, this guy is pulling from some really weird game genres. Like, it's got Beautiful Joe in there. It's got what was the other one I said? I can't even remember. I'm having a brain fart moment. But then there's a level in the end where you are in the stomach of a dragon, and you are getting bounced around by all of its like innards, and the screen is tipping, and there's all these physics where like parts of its bowels are like coming off of ledges as the ledges slide back and forth, and it reminded me a lot of Gradius, because there are levels in that game that do the same thing. Gradius 5 specifically for the PS2. So there's all these really weird references to other games that are just from completely different genres. Like there's No More Heroes story. It's got Beautiful Joe mechanics, and it's got like Gradius 5 bullet dodging, all kind of squished into one. I guess my biggest issue with this game was that it took me a good long time to get used to the controls, especially after playing Rogue Legacy endlessly for the past week, and then suddenly not having jump as the A button, like having jump somewhere else. It's really awkward to jump with a trigger. You know? It's like, you know, I reminds me of any game where jump is the up button. I always hate that. You guys ever play a game where jump is up? It's impossible.
Yeah, that was the standard for PC indie games.
Oh, it should never. You should never have to press up to jump ever, or W if you're a WASD type person. Just don't do it. Use a space bar if you have to. So, yeah, that's this game. It's pretty cool. It's the style is pretty simplistic, but I think as I started playing it more, I began to appreciate it a little bit more, especially given that it seems this game was made by one dude. But yeah, it was $5. I think even though it only took me an hour to beat the initial game, I would say I probably will get my money's worth out of this too. So there you go. That's what I've been playing this week. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's nothing complex. It's pretty involved scoring system where I think the replay value is, where they want you to beat most of the bosses with an S rank, that type of thing. So I don't think there's a time. There is a challenge mode where you can choose up to 3 bosses that you fought and try to fight them all at the same time. I tried that a little bit and I got my ass whooped in a big way. No, simultaneously. Yeah, that's why it's called challenge mode. So yeah, you can choose 3 bosses of your choice or randomly, and then try and beat them all at the same time. It becomes a bullet dodging nightmare.
So I just checked it out, and Bleed is made by a developer called Boot Disc Revolution, which is a Toronto-based indie game studio run and employed by one person named Ian Campbell.
There you go. So yeah, one guy made this. That's pretty good. I'm down with that. So I'm more than happy to patronize him. Game's fine. Yeah, it's good. I like it. That's all I got to say about it for now. Maybe next week after I get all my S ranks, we'll come back and visit it again. But that
you're relentless.
is what I've been playing this week. Who would like to go next?
I don't mind going next because it's going to be pretty short and sweet.
Okay.
Just because I haven't been playing anything new, and I don't feel like I need to explain what these games are to people. So let's see, what have I been playing? Well, I've been playing Hotline Miami.
Okay.
As always. I'm still stuck on Chapter 4, and I wanted to show the part where I'm stuck on so that people would be able to help me get past it,
Okay.
but I have a problem streaming and capturing this, because what happens is it slows down the game so significantly that you're almost cheating. And I refuse to cheat. So I'm not sure why it doesn't stream for me, or what it is that's bogging down.
Your computer is angry.
Yeah. Yeah, but, I mean, it slows it down, but it also gives you an unfair advantage. So it's almost like, well, if I just capture, I could probably beat this part, but I just won't do it. I won't do it. Also, every time I mention this game, I have to mention how much I love the soundtrack of this game. It's up on SoundCloud. Just search for Hotline Miami, and just when you're doing something else one day, just have it going, and you'll realize your toes are tapping and you're bopping your head. Like, it's a really good soundtrack.
I like games
totally
with good
dig
music.
It. Yeah. The other game that I've been playing is a really old one, which I always fall back on when I need to just shoot things without thinking, and that is a game called Astro Tripper, which originally was released on, I think, PlayStation Network in 2009, and then it was on PC, which is when I got it, in 2011. I might have got it after that too. But this is one of those side-scrolling spaceship shooter games.
It looks like I'd be so good at this game.
But the reason I'm not good at this game, you have 3 lives, and you have to get through the whole game with those 3 lives. So if you die 3 times, you start back at the training, at the very, very beginning. And the reason why I keep coming back to this and I play it, it's like a default game for when I need something that makes me feel good, is because the controls are so fluid in this. Like, it's a very smooth feeling game. And there's this flip mechanic of your spaceship, so you can flip from one side to the other, and man, if that doesn't feel satisfying.
This reminds me of Defender.
Okay.
Like, and Defender is a very classic arcade game in which you can move in both left and right. Obviously, the presentation is a little different. However, being able to move both left and right is kind of that's a Defender thing.
Yeah, I really like this game. I'm not good at it, but I always come back to it. And it's made by a developer called Pom Pom Games, and they do another one that's on my wish list called Mutant Storm. Have you guys ever played that?
I have not. I've heard of it.
And how do you like? Yeah, I kind of think I might look it up, because like I said, I really like the way this game controls and how fluid it is, and yeah, just the way it looks and sounds. And
I wonder if I might already own this game. If I do, I'm gonna install it.
I think it was in a bundle at some point, but I know this is one of the first games I bought in this genre, like outside of a bundle, because I was like, I don't know, and then I was really happy with it. So other than that, another game that I haven't been able to capture properly that I've been playing is The Witcher 2.
The Witcher!
I'm sure I don't need to explain too much about this game because it's been around forever, but part of what's prompted this is a couple things. Number one being the announcement that The Witcher 3 is coming out at some point, or The Witcher 2 point, whatever they're going to call it. And also because a few people on my Steam list have started playing Skyrim again out of the blue. And this is kind of in that same vein, except it's a different experience, and I wanted to push through. I've put probably 16 or 17 hours into it, but the last time I played it was last August. And then I picked it up again this week.
If I came back to a game like this from that distance, like basically a year, I would just say, all right, time to start over.
No, I can't do that.
Sure you can.
No. It took me a little bit. I jumped back into it this week, and it took me a little bit to try and remember where I was. And essentially, I'm still pretty early on. I'm in a section called In the Claws of Madness, and I was in this hospital basement, and there's wrath all around me, and I have to kill them, and I was like, I don't even remember the controls for this. So it took a little bit to remember, and then to try and figure my way out. But then once I got through that section of the storyline that I had stopped at, it got back to the exploring part, and I started to remember all of the things that you can do with alchemy and crafting, and the decision-based parts of the game when you're engaged in dialogue, and yeah, I really like this game.
Anyone know if this supports controllers?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I play it with a gamepad.
Okay, it's good to know.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to play this with a keyboard and mouse.
I would.
Sacrilege.
I don't know what made me choose the gamepad for this the first time out, but because that's how I started, that's how I have to keep going.
Maybe if it was first person, if it was in first person mode like Skyrim, then I could see the appeal
See, I don't play
this with a
Skyrim
keyboard
in
and
first
mouse.
person. I play it in third person.
You're the only person I know who does that.
I play it in third person.
So strange.
No. Except for when you're looking on shelves and stuff. Then I'll go into first person just to
Get closer.
check things out. But most of the time it's third.
So weird. You're so strange.
So that's what I've been playing this week. Short and sweet, like I said.
Alright.
Nothing new, just some stuff that's unfinished that keeps nagging at me.
I know, but I don't know if you're ever going to finish The Witcher. This
No.
game's like 70 hours long.
I know. I didn't even finish Skyrim, and I put, God, tons and tons of hours into that.
I didn't finish it either, but I did a lot.
I really would like to. I don't know. There's too many things on my list that are unfinished, and I keep going and playing chunks of them here and there. But I need to, I don't know, push through or something.
You have to...
Actually, always argue that Bethesda games in particular are actually better if you don't finish them.
I would agree with that.
Like, if you finish the main story, everything just sort of gets weird. Because you're this ultimate hero that has saved everything from ultimate destruction, but yet people still just treat you like a normal random everybody on the street.
Yeah.
Right.
I never finished Skyrim.
I am the Archmage. I am the king of this area. I am the leader of the Thieves Guild. Me doing disrespect.
Yeah. Still calling you a street rat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I never finished Skyrim. I never finished the main quest, but I did a ton of stuff in that. So
That's one of those games that I played a lot of it. I had it on PC. I played a ton of it. Like, probably for me, an 8-hour game is a long thing to commit myself to. This one I probably played like 36 to 42 hours of. Then I watched you, Nick, play it on the 360.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, you know what? Maybe I would like to sit in the living room and play this. So then I started a game on the 360. And then I went back to the PC game and put probably 6 to 8 more hours on it there. And still never finished it.
I think when this game gets cheap enough on Steam, I might get it again and do it. Just sit here and do it.
You would really like The Witcher, I think, because like I said, there's a lot of things that would appeal to you in terms of crafting and alchemy, collecting different like molds and plants and things, and then seeing what kind of potions you can come up with and what effects they have on the world and the
Nothing
guy.
says exciting like collecting molds.
You like that stuff.
Ooh, this is a new mushroom.
I mean, I'll stomp over it on my way to go slash somebody who's not supposed to be dead, but you would stop and collect everything and then mix it right there on the spot.
Collecting all the mushrooms. That nothing makes me a fun guy like collecting mushrooms.
But tish.
Oh, okay. It's probably in your best interest to not get it. Anything else, Sharon?
No, that's it.
I'm calling it. Okay.
Yeah.
Nick, what have you been playing?
I'm gonna go in opposite order of this too, just 'cause we're
Okay.
All right.
so I backed the Double Fine Adventure game like 10 years ago or whatever. And I haven't gotten to watch all of the documentary stuff. So last week, I started marathoning an marathon adventure games on Saturday night. Got my hands on Adventure Classic, LucasArts Adventure Classic, specifically Tim Schafer Adventure Games,
Right.
and I started playing through Full Throttle for the first time.
Okay. And how did you like it?
It's very adventure. I don't know if do you guys play adventure games or video games?
I did grow up playing them. I played a lot of the point and click and LucasArts stuff because PC was where it was at for when I was younger. So, having said that, I don't know that I remember a lot about Full Throttle.
Full Throttle is, I mean, it's of course, being Tim Schafer, it's ridiculously creative, it's fantastically written,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still
Okay.
which I don't know. It's weird struggle for me with these adventure games because I really played them also.
Mm-hmm.
And the mechanics of an adventure of the solution in an adventure game.
Or click. Point and click.
Yeah, yeah, really well.
Right.
But when I'm actually less patient with it.
So you don't want to have to click on every single thing to find what you're supposed to find.
Yeah, well, it's not that so much
Hmm.
because it's sort of, and I like hearing, a good writer and a good voice actor together. I like hearing like this game. I like hearing Ben's thoughts on all the random stuff and clicking. Like that's genuinely fun.
Right.
But it's the what is it that's really what really gets to me. Like, how was I supposed to know? This is an example from Throttle, but how was I supposed to know to use this rubber chicken with a coin?
Right.
Yeah, actually, it's funny that you say that because I was just about to reference the Adventures of Monkey Island games or Secret of Monkey Island games as like great examples of amazing writing, but completely nonsensical puzzle solving that defies like your ability to like make logical sense of things, and in a way that's sort of counterproductive. Like the whole process of figuring out the puzzle is part of the humor, not part of your genius. You know what I mean?
And then there's just other, like, I'm stuck in full throttle right now in this section that is seems really ambitious for them to do, and quite the time was like, holy crap, I can't believe they got this section into an adventure game. But it's like basically you're driving on this old dusty mining road in a loop. And you have to like pick fights with all these other bikers, and like beat them and then steal their weapons. It seems like there's some kind of like progression, like rock paper scissors thing going on, but I can't figure it out.
Can't make heads or tails of it.
Yeah, it just ends up being really tedious and way too long. And you steer the bike with your mouse,
Ugh.
and it's just
That's not what I would. That's not what I want out of an adventure game at all.
yeah, okay, here's a perfect example. I have to admit that this puzzle right here,
Hmm.
I should look this up because it doesn't make any damn sense to me.
I'm pretty sure we saw. Didn't we see Tim Schafer reference this in a video?
Yeah, actually,
This
he did.
exact puzzle about how he derived at the solution was completely he completely backwards manufactured this puzzle
But he came up with a solution first.
first
and
and went yeah.
that makes sense.
I just had a deja vu moment. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I had the same exact deja vu moment.
He talked about that same thing too in reference to the new adventure game.
Mm-hmm. Which means it's going to be just as difficult.
Maybe, but I mean, he's got some more experience now, and like I'm hoping he's got a lot more people around him this time
Mm-hmm.
to say, Tim, that's a dumb puzzle.
Too bad he didn't have more people around him to say, "Hey, Tim, stop spending money."
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still really like the game. I'm gonna finish it. I'm probably gonna have to record things once in a while.
Yeah, it's always tough to have to do that during puzzle games because it's not like a skill thing where you can look up a fact and then be like, all right, well, I know how to do it now, but I still have to be good to do it. In a puzzle game, once you know the solution, and like that's it. It's just a matter of clicking where you're supposed to click. And that to me always, like, on a gut level, it always really bothers me. Hmm.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty, like, you have to make at least 4 jumps of logic just to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
It basically gets to the point where you have to, like, use your brain to try and not think about the door, but think about the rope. You know, the puzzle is designed to make you think that you need to find a way to keep the door open when the actual solution is to keep it shut. And that is something that I don't think any normal human being can just rationalize without some kind of clue.
But I get what Nick is saying about, maybe making the verbal cues or some sort of environmental cue a little bit more apparent or apparent at all.
I don't know. That looks real good. Still the gold standard. On a double fine roll.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool. Just for reference, I did buy this on 360. I played through the whole thing and beat it. So I have played this. It's pretty good.
I also bought it for the 360 and played, I would say, probably 80% of it. I don't think I ever took it right to the end, though. Nice.
Yeah, there's I believe there's over 100 songs in this game, and a lot of them are true to form metal. Like the guys who put together the soundtrack really did their homework in a big way. They did not fuck around.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at the list. It's like Slayer and Anthrax and Ozzy and oh man. Yeah, this is a great soundtrack.
Hmm. I think
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. It did a little bit.
It does.
Yeah.
If you don't, let me just say this up front. I don't know how far you are into this game, but the bait and switch does happen.
Mhm.
And okay.
Yep. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't recall any of that stuff.
Right. Oh, I wish I remembered. I remember trying to figure it out, but I don't remember what the solution was.
Yeah. This, the thing about Brutal Legend that always got me is it has the typical Double Fine, and again, this is kind of foreshadowing what we'll talk about later, but Brutal Legend has that typical Double Fine, we ran out of money, so let's abbreviate the game feel to it. And the reason I say that is the first main area, that the open world area you have to move in, is really huge and really well done and really detailed. And the second you move into the second and third, which even together, if you combine those two areas together, they're not as big as the first area. It's like you can slowly see the money running out as they get towards the end of the game. And maybe you haven't seen that yet, maybe you have, but I definitely feel like the second half of Brutal Legend is much, much weaker than the first half. So, I mean, I don't want to bring you down, because I do love this game.
Yeah.
And if you are into collecting stuff, then there is a ton of content as well. There's there is still stuff. I played this game probably for a good 30-35 hours, and there's still stuff that I could not find. They do a really good job of hiding stuff in the world. But yeah, it's definitely a game where the development seemed to run out of steam like that, and that has nothing to do with the bait and switch. Like, yes, it does eventually become more of an RTS game and less of an action adventure, but take that or leave that, I still feel like the back end of this game could have used some more work.
It's such a shame, and it's so ironic too, because it's this is the kind of stuff that people clamor for all the time.
Yeah.
Genuinely new, original, surprising, creative stuff, but then when someone dares to make it, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember wondering why, like, at the time, I really liked that it had those two different aspects or feelings to it, and I remember not understanding why people were so offended by that. Like, genres can be mixed together as long as they're done cohesively, and I feel like this was done a bit cohesively.
I think that had more to do with marketing.
Yeah.
And where at all.
Hmm.
Yeah, if they had, it wouldn't have been a big deal.
I almost have to believe, like, I know Double Fine is like the smartest group of developers on the planet right now, obviously, and they themselves had to have known that was a dumb thing to do.
Hmm.
I have to believe that was an EA DreamWorks thing.
And maybe they thought if it crossed into that genre line, then people wouldn't have bought it. Which is funny because no one bought it anyway.
Aw.
You know, like when I looked at, like, especially at the time that this was made, it was before StarCraft 2.
Right.
And the genre had not had its, like, renaissance yet, the way it has now. And so, you know, like, probably some suit probably looked at the numbers and
Nope, too risky.
so in 2000,
Nobody likes metal. They are all into that Hannah Montana girl. And go figure, that Hannah Montana game sold like hotcakes.
There was a game?
Oh, Kimmy, there's like 7 of
Oh
them.
my.
but then also, like, at the same time, the little tiny bits of work when they did put out, what am I trying to say? So they didn't put out the right marketing, but they also didn't put out very much at all.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I'm sure there was some project management stuff going on. I'm sure there's some, you know, like Tim Schafer just gets too epic for the realities of money, as we'll talk about later.
That's right, they released it in what they called was Rocktober. Do you remember that?
Man, this is like ancient history at this point.
And they had a big concert at Comic-Con in '09 with metal bands. Huh, that's interesting.
Back to the early days. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad at least that Brutal Legend is sort of, not unlike Psychonauts, kind of gained a bit of a cult following.
Mm-hmm.
But I think most Double Fine games do end up in that situation, which is too bad for Double Fine because the only way a game can become a cult success is if it fails.
Oh.
Ah, well.
Also, I mean, like, I've talked about this a bunch on this podcast before. Like, you know, theme and creativity and all that kind of stuff is really important to me in a game. So I think that even if this game does start to flag, and I'm sure it will, like I said, in the second half, I'm going to be pulled through just by the characters and the setting and the metal.
Yeah.
Yes. Of course. The metal. Alright.
Yeah. I am down with that. Now that I've looked up the soundtrack, I'm ready to go rock out for a while.
Yeah, if this goes
Should give me some
Yeah. Some Cradle of Filth. Get familiar?
If this goes to Steam sale, maybe I'll buy it a second time, just because I'm an idiot. And only, yeah, I imagine it is. And then play through the first good half, and then when I get to the second half, I'll just stop.
Aw. It wasn't that jarring. I don't know.
Anything else you've been playing? That's it, huh? Yeah. Yeah, man, we've talked about that game now on 3 separate podcasts.
I think that means that people should take away from this podcast that Rogue Legacy is kind of good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. All right. I think that is it for now playing, unless we're forgetting anything. I don't think we are. So, suppose we take a little break? A little break-a-rooney? Break-a-rama? Break-a-mundo?
Quick break.
Quick break. Okay. All right, let's take a break, and when we come back, we will dig into some news. Actually, surprisingly, a large amount of stuff happened this week, so we'll talk about that in a second. We will be right back. All right, we are back with the second half of this podcast. This is the news half, which is Sharon's favorite half.
Woohoo!
I'm totally into it.
The news.
The news.
Game news.
It's July. It's Independence Day.
And Canada Day.
And Canada Day this past week, which means fireworks almost definitely blew something up in this country.
And people drank beer.
Yep, while shooting off fireworks, which we do not recommend here at the DPad, but...
No, we don't.
Okay, fine. Go crazy, blow yourself up. That's cool. So let's talk about some news.
Okay, well, let's just jump in. Let's jump into the piece
news
that we have been alluding to time and time again in the first half of this podcast, and that is news from Double Fine. And the news from Double Fine is that they need more money to finish Broken Age. And if, for those of you who haven't been listening to our podcast before this or have stayed away from the news for the last however many years, Broken Age is the adventure game that Double Fine started on Kickstarter, which sort of started the Kickstarter craze. And they asked for, I don't know, 500,000 or something like that,
yeah.
And made 3.3 million. It was slated to be released this summer, and it's now being pushed back, split into 2 parts, because they just can't afford to finish it.
So let's set this up a little bit, right? So they asked for $400,000.
Mm-hmm.
The internet gave them a couple million. After that happened, the guys at Double Fine said, hey, we have all this money. Let's make something way beyond the scope of what we thought we were going to make. And then that ended up being way beyond the scope of what they could afford with the millions of dollars that they made.
Mm-hmm.
So, in essence, it ends up looking like they're bleeding money, which may or may not be the truth. I don't want to get too much on the Double Fine hate train on this, just because it seems the big thing right now seems to be that it's a black eye actually for Kickstarter, not for Double Fine. I think it's kind of a black eye for both companies, personally.
How do you think this affects Kickstarter? I mean, it's still had many successful projects since this one kind of...
And there have also been many failed projects as well. And
sure,
the fact that Double Fine started the trend and then can't seem to finish their own game is kind of a microcosm of what is going on with a lot of these projects. And the actual base, like, theory of how Kickstarter should work. Like, are you giving money to fund the completion of a game, or are you giving money to fund the beginning? Like, okay, I now have $2 million, I can start to make a game. Like, where are we drawing the line? Like, what are we expecting out of the people who are doing these Kickstarters? Are we expecting them to finish the whole thing with the money they get, or are we expecting them to quite literally get a kickstart to the project? You know what I'm saying? What's the expectation? Where do we set the line?
I guess it's tough for me to say that people's expectations are wrong, but Kickstarter does pretty clearly make it apparent that what you're contributing is a donation.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
Right.
it's not actually approved. It's not a guarantee of anything. So, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else. I donated to this, so of course I also can't be super objective about it because I have, not a whole lot of money left in my box writing on this, which I personally am not going to be super bummed out if I lose that. I will be more bummed out if I don't get a new Double Fine game.
Yeah.
Because I already love Double Fine so much. They started that Kickstarter. And I've been watching, like I said before, I recently marathoned. Like, weirdly enough, right before this news hit, I
Mm-hmm.
And they went through, like, this is kind of, it's not brand new news for people that have been watching that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
They've already gone through like 3 or 4 other ways to give more money. That's actually the Double Fine Throttle sale that happened a couple months ago.
Yep.
That was totally to raise more money for
Yeah.
and the same thing with porting Legend to PC.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a way for them to get more money to fund Broken Englishman, and also keep the company going. So they've already, even before they broke this news, they've already been seeking more funding than what they got from Kickstarter. And even though these documentaries were out there, no one really seemed to care
Mm-hmm.
before. But now, I almost sort of wish they might have been better with just doing this. I mean, I guess they have to announce something when you're releasing the first half of the game and then the second half of the game later.
Right.
But I don't know, maybe they should have waited until actually closer to when they were going to release that first half. I don't know, maybe that would have been better either. But it's just weird to me that now that they're being open, like even wider open about this, and talking to people that weren't necessarily already obviously super, unconditional Double Fine fans like me. That's where they're getting the ire from.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough situation, and I think it goes back to kind of the question I was asking before: is do fans feel like they are entitled to a completed project given the amount of money they received, and are they validated? Like, can you justify that feeling if you put in the money and you're like, no, we gave you so much more money, just finish the damn project? Like, do they even have a right to say that? I don't know. Probably not. Obviously not. But you can't stop the internet. The internet will find a way to crucify you. So, and then I think you could look at this as the other side of the coin too, which is, does Double Fine feel like that they need to finish a completed project with that money? And if they do, like, do the other developers who use Kickstarter as a platform have to get out a project using just the money that they receive from Kickstarter? Like, maybe Double Fine isn't the best example because they're a very large and established company at this point, whereas a lot of Kickstarter game projects are like 2 or 3 dudes sitting in a room, like in their parents' basement, like, hey, if we don't finish this, we're going to be living here forever, so let's get some money together. If they can raise $50,000, is that enough for them to actually finish the project? And should they receive ire or defamation if they are unable to do so? Like, is it against the rules to ask for more money? Like, that's the basic gist of this. And I guess the more I think about it, like, I was pretty ashamed of the fact that Double Fine had to kind of reach out like this and say this, but at the same time, I guess it's not really their responsibility to finish the project on the budget that was allotted. I mean, the only downside is it sounds like if they don't, the company's gonna go bankrupt. So that's the actual downside to all this.
Well, one of the things that I think Tim Schafer mentioned in an interview here that I'm going to link you to is that by splitting it in half, sales from the first half are going to help to produce the second half.
As long as people buy it.
Yeah. If they waited to do the whole thing at once, it would be 2015.
Sure hope this game doesn't become a cult classic, because if it does, Tim Schafer and friends might be looking for new jobs by the time Christmas rolls around.
That would be sad.
Just telling it like it is.
Well, that would be sad.
But I mean, on the upside, the way they're doing it now is they ended up using the Kickstarter as a seed, basically, to get things going, and they've been self-funding this whole time. This is really just another way for them to continue self-funding
Mm-hmm.
of this game.
Right.
So now that they have the freedom to fund this game in any way that they see fit, maybe that means that we will get one of the first truly complete double games.
It's true. Making video games, it's a serious business. Thank God I'm not involved with it.
Yeah. And how?
Let's move on. What else we got happening this week?
Well, let's have a look here. Okay, I'm gonna tell you about a little boy named Justin Carter, who plays lots of League of Legends. Decided that he was going to say something very inappropriate, like lots of online gamers do. And
you are to suck, noobs.
well, this one went a little bit further, and he said something about shooting up a school full of kids. And somebody, I don't know if somebody told their mom or somebody's mom was playing and decided to look this kid up, found out that he lived near a school, and called the police.
Nice.
So, little Justin Carter, who was 18, was then arrested and thrown into jail for uttering terrorist threats, and I believe he is still incarcerated, and his family is sort of trying to fight it because I guess he's not doing too well in prison.
This is your freedom at work, folks.
I really don't even know, this is why I want to get this over with, I really don't even know how to feel about this. It's unfortunate. It's like, you know.
I think whether it was a joke or not, I don't think the punishment fits the crime. Like this kid was playing League of Legends, for God's sakes. He's not a troubled soul. I mean, well, he plays League of Legends, he might be a troubled soul. But that's beyond the point. I don't think getting 8 years of jail is going to make this kid a better person. Maybe he needs some counseling. Like, maybe he should get expelled from whatever school he's at. That seems like the proper type of punishment. But sending him to jail where, we're talking about a teenager who sits at home and plays video games. Hey, wait, that sounds like me. What did I look like when I was a teenager playing video games? Oh, that's right. I was a scrawny little kid with absolutely no self-esteem or muscles. And if you sent me to jail, I probably would not be here today. I would probably be dead. So that's what we're going to do. This kid says something that obviously he should not have said. I'm not defending what he said, because that's just dumb, especially 2013 in America. You can't use the anonymity of the internet to mask anything anymore. Shouldn't be saying that stuff, but I don't necessarily think sending the kid to jail is the right decision.
Well, and not only that, and maybe this is just me being the female of the group here, but I feel like we're at a point now where somebody who's 18 years old has parents who maybe grew up on the internet like we did, or maybe they didn't, because the internet was still relatively elusive, I guess, and being able to teach children that your digital etiquette is the same as your real life etiquette is a really important lesson to learn. That the internet is not anonymous. People know who you are, even when you think you're being anonymous. Yeah, well, and not only that, but whether you're online or whether you're in person in your real life, in your day-to-day life, the way you behave reflects upon you and your intentions and your future and your you have to be who you are online the same as you are in real life, and expect the consequences are the same. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a person on the other end of that. So,
But I absolutely do believe that parents are responsible for teaching basic humanity to children who, even if you don't know what your kids are using, if you don't understand the tools that your children are using to communicate, then you need to find out so that you can teach them how to use it properly. This is not appropriate.
So, kind of on a slight tangent on this, how do you think this affects League of Legends?
Not at all.
How does...
League of Legends connection comes from, like, the story that you have, like, I've seen the story post other places too.
Hmm.
The League of Legends connection seems...
Yeah, you're right.
Like, the kid plays League of Legends, and then he posted this thing on Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this... Like, there's a huge leap of logic there. No one has explained...
This is...
I haven't seen any article explaining how those two things work.
I think when it comes down to it, it's probably popular media trying to find some scapegoat again. To say, well, why would this kid say this? Oh, this is why video games. Especially given that League of Legends is known for its severe lack of etiquette. So,
Well, the media does it every time. I mean, anytime something happens in which there is a person who acts in a violent way, we all hold our breath. I mean, I know Nick and we hold our breath and wait. And how long is it going to be until one media outlet decides to blame whatever video game they were playing?
Never takes long. It's usually pretty quick.
So, I mean, that could just be the case here, too.
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
Good luck in jail there,
well,
kiddo.
gosh, that's awful.
Just try to, stay out of dark corners. Don't drop the soap, I guess.
So let's maybe do something a bit happier.
Yay! Happy news! We'll have to save that for the Dota versus League of Legends podcast.
Oh, we should do one of those.
The 4-hour podcast in which we discuss
the intricacies. We need like a month build up for that because we'll need to all play both of them for a significant amount of time.
We'll have to get some guests or something.
But in any event, I know we've talked a lot about game music. I know I talk about it every time we stream something because it's sort of a sticking point for me all of a sudden the past couple of years. Thank you, Nick. And
You're welcome.
There is, let's see, what did I call this story? OC Remix has a free Final Fantasy album of 70 plus tracks that I think they originally started it on Kickstarter. And you can now go get it for free. And we listened to a little bit of it, and it sounds great. I mean, I don't have the nostalgia attachment that you guys probably do, because I didn't play a lot of Final Fantasy.
Yeah. I think I've said it many times before. I think my favorite is Final Fantasy IV, but I think the best is Final Fantasy VI. Like I have different nostalgic connections to both of those games, but six means a lot to me. I was 16 when that game came out, and it was pretty amazing. So I actually own a copy of the original Square produced OST from this game that I got for Christmas in like 1995. And I like it's a 3-disc set that I keep very safe, so I never lose it. It's first of all, this whole project has a very interesting history because it originally was shut down by Square Enix because copyrights. So they actually started a Kickstarter to produce this whole thing and also to get the money to basically get Square on board and say, hey, we want to remix this music, we want your support. So they started Kickstarter. They made a ton of money. I think. Well,
they asked for 30,000 and they made 150,000.
That's crazy. So they were able to give Square the money that they needed to get the rights necessary to produce this album, which is great. The second I heard this was out, I downloaded it. I actually have not listened to it yet because I have to take a long drive this week, and I am planning on listening to it on the way there. So, Nick, I'm sure you feel the same way, but Final Fantasy VI music is some of the best. Yeah, it does not require any description or justification. I think anyone. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And tons, like you said, it was 70-something tracks.
74,
Yeah.
I think, or 70 plus anyway. The album is called Balance and Ruin, and if you were a backer of it, you probably already got your physical copy and whatever other backing rewards, and then now they just opened it up for everybody.
Yeah. I feel bad for not knowing about this project because I would have supported it just to get the physical copy. But yeah, it's 6 hours of music. It actually, if you put all of the MP3s on discs, it ends up being, I think, 5 discs. So,
Wow.
pretty crazy amount. Yeah, there you go. 74 tracks, 5 discs. The only thing I don't like is that there are some songs where the artists have made up lyrics and started singing, and that really bothers me when people do that. But that's my own business. I'm not going to get too critical about that. But yeah, freaking Final Fantasy VI music. All right. I'll probably also worth noting they released a Final Fantasy IV project like this about 3 or 4 years ago. That's only spanned about 3 discs, and I listened to that thing to the end of time. Like, it was really good. So I have high hopes.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Yes, go download it.
Even I appreciate it. Like I said, I didn't play much of them, so that's saying a lot.
Yeah. I'm sure this album will make me feel many things.
Many feels.
I will have many feels upon listening to this album. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I'm happy that that Kickstarter was successful and Square kind of let it happen. Everybody wins.
Yay. Win-win.
That is good news. That's like some good news.
Good game news.
Yay. All right, let's get back to depressing news.
Okay, let's see. Don Matrick, formerly of Microsoft or Xbox, whoever paid his check, I'm not sure, has left or taken leave of Microsoft and is now part of Zynga.
That's a step in the right direction.
Rumor has it that Matrick stands to gain $50 million by making that move. I don't know if that's what Zynga is hiring him as a signing bonus. Oh no, $5 million for a signing bonus, $1 million for annual salary, $2 million cash bonus, 11.3 in Zynga stocks,
and all the free Farmville energy
Yeah.
he'll need for the rest of his life.
so on and so forth. So it looks like he stands to gain quite a bit of money by making that jump. Great. I mean, you'll remember, if you're not quite sure who this guy is, he's the guy who at E3 this year talked to game trailers and said, if you don't like always being connected, then just play your Xbox 360. Don't get an Xbox One.
Can I say something completely superficial about Don Matrick?
I guess.
Freaking hate his haircut.
Oh, that is kind of catty.
I don't know. There's something about him that I've never liked. I can't explain it. I think maybe it's just the way he enunciates, but it really bothers me. I realize that is completely irrelevant to his ability to perform his job, which is why it's a superficial comment, but I really don't care that he's leaving Microsoft. I'd rather see Peter Moore come back and talk it up with Xbox, but that...
Superficially, I just pasted an image into the Skype chat there. And you should get that on the video feed if you can.
Let me see what I can do.
And Zynga founder Picus. And they look exactly the same.
Oh, are they related?
It's creepy. Picus looks like a sugar daddy Matrick.
Let me
Oh,
see what I
my.
can do here.
Well, I guess
Oh,
he's going to
man.
be acting as CEO now, so
You're right. They do actually like quite a
Show
bit
us.
alike.
Show the video cast.
Only
Oh
maybe
my! Wow.
About 8 inches difference, but they have the same nose.
Eyebrows, eye.
These guys,
Wow.
I swear. Well,
Zynga.
they're together at last. Now they can father and son reunited once again. So ridiculous.
Wow. So yeah, that's quite a move. That means that we'll be looking for a new face of Xbox in the coming.
What does this mean for Zynga?
They have a new CEO.
Yeah, but what is it like? What's the bigger picture of this?
I don't know. They steal some of Microsoft's intellectual property because that's what Zynga does best.
It's just, I don't know how this affects Zynga in terms of being a successful company. Like, do they bring him in to try and, I don't know, legitimize the company? I feel like that's what Zynga needs, is someone to come in and say, hey, we are a real game company. We make real video games. Because obviously they don't.
We'll get. Yeah.
He didn't have the those dudes that could be a CEO of something. Apparently he wasn't a CEO of Microsoft or whatever. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna be a CEO.
Well, after it happened, Zynga stocks went up. So that already is businessman stuff happening because other businessmen decided it was good. And but if you, there's a link in the article that I'll link you to that talks about what some of the analysts have discussed, and seems like they're still skeptical in the long-term productivity of his move. But that's a whole side of the business that I generally don't familiarize myself with. So.
Making browser games is kind of serious business. I'm trying to legitimize the business of making games for Facebook. Good luck with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I hopefully it means I'll never have to see Don Metric's bad haircut again.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
Fine.
And he says, if you don't like it, then don't buy it.
Zyngatron 3000.
That actually sounds intimidating.
I mean, yeah, their OS is called Zingaville.
Terrible.
How much will it cost? How much will it cost at lunch? Oh, about 2,800 energy. Yes.
I'm
So
sorry, but
silly.
you need 5 energy to talk to this friend. Oh. All right, here's another one. Yeah, totally. Here's another one that might get a giggle out of you, and that is that WiiU.com does not belong to Nintendo.
And it never will.
After a very long, I think it was a long battle, in the court battle or what have you, the World Intellectual Property Organization denied Nintendo's claim on WiiU.com. And so it still belongs with the original owner. Nick, would you like to tell us what Wii U
Sure.
stands for?
So WiiU.com is apparently owned by a group who have started a company called WeInvestInYou.com. So literally We, W-E, invest, which is the first I, in, which is the second I, and you, as in you, WiiU.com, we invest in you. This is the first time I can ever remember in a long, long time where Nintendo started a legal battle and lost. Nintendo's lawyers are pretty amazing. So for them to come out and basically fail to get I'm actually going to go to WiiU.com right now and see if I can see what it is. So I just went to WiiU.com. This is what it looks like. It is for sale, guys. This website is definitely not a site called We Invest in You. It is a site designed to get easy hits.
Yeah.
So the fact that Nintendo was not able to get this domain from these guys is pretty embarrassing. I really don't know what else to say about it, other than
Yep. And it didn't work. Yeah.
well, they'll just have to get NintendoWiiU.com or WiiV.com.
Don't they already have a website for that?
Yeah, Nintendo.com.
Oh.
That's where everyone's gonna go anyway. No one's looking up WiiU.com because nobody wants a Wii U.
Oh.
You know, let's get to... You gotta dig to the base of the problem to see what's actually going on here.
Nintendo.com/Wii U is the official Wii U site.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Meh.
So ridiculous.
I don't think it matters.
So there you go.
Yep.
With the Wii U.com.
That's about it.
We invest in you.
So why don't you invest in telling me about what games are coming out this week?
I see what you did there. Sure.
Good call.
It'll be called...
Yes.
Let's see. We'll call it the family.com. It's the Wii, but for the family. See, the first Wii was we as in us, and the second one was Wii U as in us and you. Now it's going to be called the Fama-Wii, which means you, we, and your family and your extended family. That way they can get Grandma back on board. So there you go. Go register. Go register it right now. Family.com.
But we're just encouraging people to start talking in yeah.
Get it? Because it's the Famicom, but it's the Family.
That wascally rabbit.
That wascally rabbit. Yes, people were making... Yes. Because when people heard the name Wii, no one made any jokes.
I probably made most of those.
It's funny because it's another name for a penis.
We're going to the bathroom.
All right, guys. You know what's coming out this week?
Yeah, no, what? What? Tell us.
Not a whole lot.
Oh.
I know. I say this all the time this time of year because it's the summer and games generally don't release in the summer. But new expansion pack for Sid Meier's Civ 5.
Ooh.
So it's Brave New World that is out on Tuesday.
You ever played Civ 5?
I'm not a Civ guy.
Oh, I love it.
I know you are.
Love
You're
it.
Into the Civ. Probably. Probably. Yeah, cool. Beyond that, it looks like if you're into football, college football comes out on Tuesday as well. This is, every July, usually 3 weeks in or 2 weeks in, the new college football game comes out, and everybody in the South buys it, and everyone else ignores it. Seeing as none of us are currently in the South, we would choose to ignore it. Also, looks like... I could be wrong, but this looks like a disc box set of Metal Gear Solid coming out for PS3. Metal Gear Solid, the Legacy Collection, 1987 to 2012. I can only imagine is every Metal Gear Solid, or every Metal Gear game ever made if it goes back to 87. So it must also include Metal Gear and Metal Gear Snake's Revenge.
It'll include Metal Gear, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid VR missions.
Yep.
Sons of Liberty HD Edition, Snake Eater HD Edition, Guns of the Patriot Trophy Edition, Peace Walker HD Edition, digital graphic novels.
Wow, that is actually a lot of games.
And a new 100-page art book.
Cool.
I love art books.
Yeah, if you're in a Metal Gear and you want everything,
pretty sweet.
That's a pretty good package.
Yeah.
I'm not even a Metal Gear person, and that is pretty damn sweet. That's
Yep.
cool. That's pretty much it. I mean, looks like there's a couple.
Tokitori, didn't you play that?
Tokitori 2 for PC? No, I don't know. I don't know. And then a couple Vita games.
The game is overall and charming and a really good solid puzzle game.
That is pretty much it for video games coming out this week. So, yeah, that's it. That brings us to the end of this fine podcast.
I love it.
Right. If so, Nintendo comes calling on your door for FamilyWii.com, we're gonna have to figure out what it actually stands for, so that we can win a court battle and earn millions and millions of dollars.
You know what we need to do is get. We need to get a Nintendo version of like Family Circus webcomic up there.
There you go.
Family.
FamilyWii.com. Sharon, would
Yes,
you
sir.
like to go over the closing credits?
Sure. Let's see. Please visit us at www.fromthedpad.com. You can also find us here on twitch.tv/fromthedpad and on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Google, all those great things. Big thank you to Nick for joining us on the podcast. You can find some of his stuff at, let's see, p1lp2.com. Right? Said it right? That's right. That's right. Fantastic. That's great.
You played as long as you could, and well, you played until you ran out of energy.
And also, wow,
that is a lot of
that's fun.
free to play nonsense.
Celebrating the independence of everything.
All right.
And
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you are listening to the podcast on your MP3 player or via the website, you can find this podcast live videocast on twitch.tv/fromthedpad, typically Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to head over to the channel, click the follow button, you'll get that email that says, hey, we're live. Come join us.
Word. Yeah. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, free stuff, you can email me or Sharon at fromthedpad.com. And that is pretty much it. Any parting comments today? Anybody?
No, I guess we'll look forward. Video games! And we'll look forward to Jeremy's return next week.
Yep, Jeremy should be back next week. I know you and I will be here, Sharon. Nick, I'm assuming you will also be around. So we will once again have our full crew on board the pirate ship DPad. So yeah, that's gonna do it for episode 45 of the podcast. We'll be back next week for episode 46 of the DPad from the DPod from the DPad. I might have screwed that up, but you didn't hear that. In any event, we are gonna go play some video games. I would suggest you go do the same. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you later.